Hey guys, Flabaliki here today and welcome back to Planet Coaster, the indoor ride build. So last time we started work on this little room here. I say little room, it is anything but a little room. It's fairly big indeed, if you know what I mean. No, I just mean it is quite large actually. So there's still a lot of work to do with it. We don't even finish it in this part. There's still a lot to do after this. Now, this is still Alpha 1 in this section of the video. It does swap over near the end. About 13 minutes in, 12 and a half, I think it swaps over to Alpha 2. Anyway, and you'll see when it swaps over because the track color changes to white, and then because now we can color the coaster tracks, which is sweet, and we can also change a whole bunch of other stuff about coasters, which is really, really awesome. But anyway, you'll see that happen halfway through. Anyway, so we're just building up some more little structures around the town, making it look a little bit more sort of packed in and glob. We got to glob it all together. I don't know why I'm saying glob, but it's one of those words. One of those. It's like the word like moist, you know, glob. Like, and especially if you put them together, a moist glob. Yeah, just let that sink in for a little bit. Right, yeah, so we got the track, as you guys know, it sort of just curves through the little town. I guess a little port, little harbour town with a huge galleon ship in there, which is a little bit of fun. So in this part, like I said, we get some more structures in here. We got a nice little head chopper, if you will, where the coaster sort of ducks down just underneath it without, you know, hurting anyone, because we don't want any lawsuits. That'd actually be kind of funny if that was I don't know why they would. I was just checking that no one actually hit it. That you don't hit it. So there you go. But that coaster car actually changes because as some of the more coaster, I guess coaster heads, because that's what Planet Coaster calls people that know about coasters. Some of you coaster heads may know that's not the actual coaster car that goes with this track. It's a weird car to have on this track, but you know, I did it because it was a smaller car and it sort of fit the style of the coaster a little bit better. But because we only had two coasters, we just had two different tracks and loads of different cars, so I just put that on there because it worked a bit better. But in the Alpha 2 update, or Alpha, it's technically Alpha 0.2. But anyway, no, wait, no, it is Alpha 2. No, it is Alpha 2. Never mind. I don't know why I thought it was 0.2. Anyway, in Alpha 2, you can't change the types of cars on the track. So the track that you choose comes with an associated type of cars. So we have to change the look of the coaster later on, or the look of the cars later on. So they are actually different, which was actually a bit unfortunate. I still need to play around with it a little bit more because when it changed, the coaster, if I make it really short and only have one or two cars, it doesn't actually complete the track. It's too slow. So it actually has to be a full station length of like a coaster train to be able to make the track. So it's no longer a small coaster. It's like a full coaster car, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of a caveat of having used this track. If I had completed it before Alpha 2, that wouldn't have been a problem because we would have been able to ride the ride before that happened. But anyway, you know, we've got to work with what we've got. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more later on to see if I can make it a bit better. Now, so this underneath section is going to be as suggested by the Twitch chat, because in case you guys don't know, I always live stream these construction parts. All of this was live streamed. So if you do ever want to see any of this in real time, I suggest checking out my Twitch page, because make sure to follow that so you get a notification. And if you get the mobile app for Twitch, and make sure you get it to send a notification to your phone, you'll never miss it. Because Twitch does send emails, but sometimes they can be a bit slow. And sometimes, you know, your email client only checks every 15 to 20 minutes or something if you got an email. So if you do the notification via the app on your phone, then you'll always know the second I go live. I also always tweet it out, so make sure to follow me on Twitter as well, and you won't miss it out. And of course, I always post a video on YouTube as well saying I'm live. So anyway, I make sure you guys know that I'm live. Obviously, it can't always be at the best time for you, but make sure you follow my Twitch page because we always stream this live, and that's where I get a lot of really, really helpful feedback. Of course, I'll be taking feedback from YouTube as well, but you know, I get a lot of stuff along the way as I'm constructing. Now, this obviously looks a little bit like it's really interesting actually. Now, I think I didn't. No, I think that was last part. There's some bits that get really fiddly where you have to like zoom in a lot, and there's a lot of interior work like right now where we're sort of shoving it in. But that's why this video isn't too sped up. I say it's not too sped up, but it is still 6 times the regular speed. Sometimes I'll do 8 times, but there was a lot of camera movement in this, so we kind of needed to just slow it down a little bit more so we could actually see what's going on. But now we have this kind of sewer place, sewer kind of idea working down there where the track sort of ducks down from the previous room, comes through that building. You don't see the town at all until you come out and look at that huge galleon, which I think is really cool. That's a really cool like reveal as you come through. Like you come through the sewer and then it opens up into this whole little set piece of a town, which I think in a way is kind of really Disney-esque. You know, Disney always has these huge themed rooms and these themed rides, and it was a lot of fun to kind of actually build this room. Obviously, it's taken us a long time, and like I said, it's not even going to be done in this part. The next part, it will be done. So, part 4, which I've already recorded, by the way, so don't worry, that won't be a month away. That'll probably be within the next few days, probably 3 to 4 days, as we cycle, because I cycle through the other series on the channel, and then we come back to this. Yeah, so that'll be in a few days, and you'll see the finished product of this room, which it turns out really well. But of course, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's pretty good. So right now, building up the walls, and I was initially, and I changed my mind in the second half, or I guess part 4 it will be. You'll see where I changed my mind. Actually, no, I think it is in this part I changed my mind. Never mind. Sorry, I've got like the hiccups while I'm recording this. I'm trying to like prevent hiccuping, so it's like going real quiet. So I built all these walls super high. The only reason I did it was because of the galleon ship. The galleon ship is super tall, as you can tell, but the rest of the town isn't very tall. The rest of the town is fairly, small. So initially I built up the walls really high with the idea to cover up the galleon ship with a roof above it. The reason I didn't keep it that way is just because it will look ridiculous from the exterior. The inside will look fine. The inside of the ride will look great, but looking from the outside, trying to trying to disguise a huge blue tower is super hard. Having a more traditional, flat kind of warehousey building is much easier to sort of, fit into the scenery. But I mean, these walls are kind of ridiculous. But there's only one way to find out if you like something or not, and it's trying it out and seeing how it goes. And that's what I tried to do. And apparently I didn't like it, so I got rid of it later on. You'll see it change, and we make a few really nice changes as well to some of the walls to make them work a little bit better. Here you go. Look at that. Slotted right in there. Now, so basically I wanted to have that chain lift. I wanted it to have a view over the room. That is something we do miss out on. We don't get a huge overlook over the room with a lower ceiling. If we had kept the higher ceiling, you'd be able to see, like, I guess in the entire room really from the top of the chain lift, which would have been cool. But like I said, it would have created this huge room that looked ridiculous from the outside. The inside, like I said, would be fine. Outside, not so much. But now we're just going around all the little sort of houses in the town. Oh, this takes me back, because this is still Alpha 1. In Alpha 2, and you'll see me doing this as we get into Alpha 2, they included a fine adjustment tool. So as you can see, when I move something like that with those arrows that pop up on a surface, if you're placing an item in Alpha 2, you press X, it'll lock that item in place, but it'll have like, it's kind of like a 3D editing software. It'll lock the item in place, but it has the little gizmo with, X, Y, and Z axis that you can push and pull it on and get the exact position without it, flying off the side of the building by accident. And you can also do exact rotation. You get all 3 axes of rotation on the items as well. And you'll see that as we move into Alpha 2, which will be in a few minutes' time. Which is so useful for getting the exact placement of windows and doors and all kind of little details. So I can only imagine, like, I can only imagine what some of the super talented people are going to do in this game, because I like to think of myself as like, I can build something that looks good. But then I can't, like, I've seen these things, like, there was like the Colosseum that someone built, the Aztec sort of temple. I'm pretty sure that was the same guy that did that. What is it? Cucamonda? Was that his name? I think that's the guy's name. He built some insane stuff. I know, of course, Silver as well, which I've shouted out before. Though some of these guys build some crazy things, so I can only imagine what they're going to do with the Alpha 2 stuff. And it's going to be crazy. But anyway, for me, it's super useful to have those little fine adjustments to get things exactly where I want them to be as well. Apparently, I'm chilling out and having a look around. Getting some flags in here, and I'm just getting some details as well to fill in some little gaps. The other thing is, because the ride is going pretty slow in this area, but it's not that slow. Like, I wonder, it might even be an idea to... I'm just thinking, maybe I could even slow down the ride a little bit more, because I'm pretty sure, because in Alpha 2, you do have the there's like wheel drive on this particular coaster. There's no boosters, unfortunately, on this type of track, but there are wheels that will accelerate the coaster or keep it at a certain speed. And I think the maximum speed of those wheels that can go is like 9 miles an hour, I think. I don't know. Let me Google it. Hang on. Because it was like 4 meters a second, whatever that works out to be. 4 meters a second in kilometers an hour. Let's do kilometers an hour. 14.4 kilometers an hour. So it's pretty damn slow. And then miles per hour, because I know people will be asking about that. Miles per hour is, 9 miles an hour. So that's as fast as it can go, which means we can actually make that slower. We can even take that down to 2 meters per second at 4.4 miles an hour, or whatever that is in kilometers an hour. Let's see. Kilometers per hour, 7.2. So we can get it, we could pull it through this area instead of letting gravity take charge. We could even sort of remove some of those banks on the coaster and just slowly pull the coaster around, just so you get a more atmospheric vibe, which I'm actually, now that I'm talking about it, I didn't think about this in the time, but maybe that's a good idea, because really this area, especially with the new coaster car, because like I said, the coaster car changes in Alpha 2. With the new coaster car, like I said, it goes a bit slower anyway. So I'm thinking maybe we even just do that. We could have, you have the initial drop into the sewer. So you could get a little bit of a rush there. And then we could slow it down in the rest of the town and sort of pull it through slowly. And then, of course, you have that sort of head chopper drop as well, which will still be good. You'll still get a little bit of a rush out of it, but it won't be super fast. And I think it was never super fast anyway. But I think that could be an idea. I think that could be an idea. Let me know what you think in the comments, because I didn't even bring that up on stream, so the stream guys don't even know about that. But I think that might be a way to go, especially in this room, just because there is so much detail, and I kind of want the people on the ride to be able to see it. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that idea. All right, so building some more walls for the sort of second portion of the ride now. So the next, after this big drop sort of signifies the end of the super detailed rooms and the super themed areas. It's basically going to be, like kind of like Space Mountain in Disney, if you've ever seen that ride. It's like you have, even that ride doesn't have that much theming, but at the beginning you go through like a little tunnel and there's all these little props and that. But when you go over the drop, it's just dark. It has like a few lights here and there, just like a little fun, like kind of laser lights and that. But it's mostly just dark, and you're mostly just enjoying the ride. There's not a lot of theming in there. I think that's kind of what I want to do with the rest of the ride, for a couple of reasons. One, it makes sense. And two, because you are traveling a lot faster, you won't really see any details. And three, this bloody room here took us 3 parts, which is about 6 to 8 hours of real time to do. So probably a little bit longer than that, actually. I think it might have been longer than that. So it's just taking us so much time to do this. And then this is only, like, we've only done half of the ride after this room. Here's Alpha 2, by the way. We can change the colors of the track. Sweet. All these supports disappeared from the ride because they added in an option in the main menu that allows you to either show or hide supports going through scenery items. So right now, the supports are hidden through scenery items. And I did enable the option in the main menu to show the supports, because I still want coaster supports. I don't want it to be floating, which it currently is. I did enable the option in the main menu, and I did it on live stream so everyone could see it and verify that I was doing it correct. But loading into the game, it didn't seem to work. The support's still on there, so I'm pretty sure that's still bugged out a little bit. And actually, I'm going to load up the game now to see if there's an update, because if there's an update, maybe they've fixed it, because they've been doing a lot of small patches to fix bugs over the last week and a bit. There is no patch yet, but that option does not work. Or it might be because maybe my save is a bit older and it doesn't work. I don't know. But it's a global option, so it really should work. Anyway, so we do have terrain editing now, which is fantastic. So I can actually pull out the terrain where it sort of comes through the building. And it means we can also, like you saw, where the part of the building was kind of floating, I could also bring up the terrain, which is fantastic. And I can't wait to do some other things. I mentioned in the live stream as well, in the Alpha 2 live stream, that when I was building this was just yesterday actually, I mentioned that I would have loved to have done some Alpha 2 specific stuff, like do a lot of terrain editing. But I want to finish this ride first, because I said, and I'm pretty sure you guys can probably attest to this, if I don't finish this now, before I do anything else, this will never get done. So I'm going to finish this ride first. Then I have a lot of cool ideas of things I want to do with terrain editing. Obviously, one of the first things that sprung to mind was a floating island. And you could get like kind of like, actually, if you guys have seen the movie Inside Out, you know, where they have those 5 different sort of floating islands, and one of them looks like a theme park, right? So that would be cool to make like a floating island theme park. I don't know, just with like loads of coasters all over it. I think that could be a fun like live stream project that, of course, I will post on YouTube as well. I don't know. There's a lot of cool ideas of stuff that could be done. Right, so changing the chain lift, I figured out that I could use these roof pieces to go directly underneath the chain lift, so it actually looks like it's part of the structure, and it actually fits in a lot nicer. So we're changing up a bunch of the walls to make it just fit better, because right there it was kind of messy. It was kind of messy, but we can get all these little triangle pieces in here. I'm building them out of the stone so it matches the rest of the town, so it looks like a town structure, really. Which is ideal. So yeah, let's build this up and make it. It makes the room a little bit bigger too, actually, which is quite good because we can fit it in. Now, unfortunately, there is no water in the game yet. They did show it in one of the live streams. I don't think they meant to show the water because the water's not done yet, and they've mentioned that a few times that the water in the game is 100% not done. That's why it's not in the game. That's why we can't use it yet. They wanna finish it off, make it perfect, which I really respect that they do these things. But sometimes it would be nice just to have some buggy water. Sometimes it'd be nice to have buggy water, because right now everyone to make water is using these blue floor tiles, which is fine. But it'd be nice to have some actual water that we could use in here. But for now, that blue sort of floor tile does fine. Anyway, so we're going to finish off the little town facade here, of course. We still got a little bit more work to do. And now I think you can understand why this took so long, because there's just so much to do in this one room. It is crazy. And even after this episode, like I said, we are not done. There is still loads more to do. There's a bunch of detailing to do. And this is just this room. Next episode is also just this room. We got a bunch more detailing to do. There's all of the lighting to do as well. And I got to say, when it goes nighttime, when you ride this ride at night and you look at the lighting, it's so good. It looks so good. I'm so happy with it. That's just a little teaser for the next episode, so I'd suggest checking it out when it comes out. Obviously, adjusting some of these walls, and I think have I decided to cut down the walls yet? Because they're super big. They're really damn tall. I'll probably decide that in a second. I think it might be the last thing I do in this, actually. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, just sort of recalibrating the walls so they sort of fit where the coaster track is going precisely. As you can see, it comes up, sort of does a sharp turn. I still like that sharp turn. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't really make sense on the coaster cars that we're using now. Well, that we have to use now, but it'll do. Unfortunately, they added 13 new coasters, right? Which is fantastic, but there's no wild mouse yet, which sucks. And they by no means said there's way more coaster types to come down the line. They are not done at all, but I really wanted a wild mouse. I love wild mouse coasters because you could do a really fun one of those. And also I really want a mine train coaster, which I don't think is in the game yet, as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't actually played around a lot with the new Alpha 2 stuff because I've only been building this coaster because I want to get it done, because you guys want to see it, I want to see it done, and it deserves to be done. So I'm focusing on this before really diving into anything else. But anyway, just getting a few walls around there just to sort of finish off that part of the structure. We can probably cut off that back, all that space behind the coaster there. All of that doesn't need to be there. I haven't actually cut it off at all, even in the future part. But I guess that doesn't really need to be there anymore, so we could probably get rid of that if we don't need it. Now, actually, going back to the rest of the ride, how I said it wasn't going to be super detailed. I did mention that I do want to have some large set pieces in those areas. Those areas. So we could even have like a little port, like another little water area with a lot of little rowboats, maybe even a broken ship somewhere, statues, maybe a forest somewhere, just like set pieces, but nothing like super intricate like the little town. But that's pretty much going to do us for this part, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to tune in for the next one. Leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. But thanks for watching. I will see you next time, and have an awesome day.